Chapter second, the title of the chapter is Sankhya Yoga, or contents of Gita summarized. And today's shloka is shloka number 4. So let us chant the shloka. Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna Vacha
Katham Bhishmam Aham Sankhe
Katam Bhismam Aham Sankhe
Dronam Cha Madhusudana
Dronam Cha Madhusudana
Ishu Ishubhi Prati Yotsyami
Isubiprateyotsami
Puja Pujarhava Arisudana.
Pujarha Varisudana.
Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna Vacha
Katham Bhishmam Aham Sankhe
Katam Bhismam Aham Sankhe
Dronam Cha Madhusudana
Dronam Cha Madhusudana
Ishubhihi Pratiyotsyami
Isubiprateyotsami
Pujaharvarisudana.
Pujarha Varisudana.
If anybody wants to chant,
Arjuna Vacha Katam Bhismam Aham Sankhe Dronam Cha Madhusudana Isi Vipratiyotsami Pujarha Varisudana.
anybody else want to chant? Try. Okay, so the translation and purport. Arjun said, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counteract with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of my worship? Purport. Respectable superiors like Bhishma, the grandfather, and Dronacharya, the teacher, are always worshipable. Even if they attack, they should not be counterattacked. It is general etiquette that superiors are not to be offered even a verbal fight. Even if they are sometimes harsh in behavior, they should not be harshly treated. Then, how is it possible for Arjuna to counteract them? Would Krishna ever attack his grandfather Ugrasena or his teacher Sandipani Muni? These were some of the arguments offered by Arjuna to Krishna. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Vedanta Swami Vitinami Namaste Saraswati Devi Vishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatari Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare. So now this is a um, dynamic or dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna. So Krishna, in the beginning, he asked, "How have these impurities come upon you?" In the second shloka, it does not fit a man who knows the value of life. And then he asked Arjuna to give this importance, and this is a Kshudra activity of giving up fighting. So after the very strong words by Krishna, now Arjuna is asking, now from where it has come. So Arjuna is saying, it has come from here, like how I can counteract Bhishma and Drona. So as we have been seeing from the beginning, Arjuna's main focus was always Bhishma and Drona in the Kaurav Sena, and they were the main fighters, of course. But apart from that, Bhishma was grandfather, and Drona was the Arjuna's teacher. So it's not the relationship is little bit different. In though this is the anyone can say this is a battle What is the difference? The difference is the relationships that is coming in between. And the grandfather and teachers, they are to be respected always, generally. So, like Prabhupada mentions, the superiors are to be respected. And Srila Prabhupada says, like, even if they are harsh with you, you should not counteract with the harsh words. That's a etiquette. That's a general etiquette that should be followed for a respectable person, or a person who is Aryans, or who knows the behavior and importance of Shastra and Dharma. And they follow these etiquettes. So on this basis, because Arjuna is also one of them, he is asking how I can do this. Uh, it's almost looks like the similar type of argument that Arjuna has put in the first chapter, seeing Bhishma and Drona. So from that we can understand how much Arjuna is going through the pain, uh, the internal pain and the external pain also. External because he's crying also, right? Because of his internal pain that he has to go through this situation, which he really don't want to face, but he has to go through it. So these situations that Arjuna is facing is not very different from what we face. We also face several situations in which we have to act, or we are forced to act in a way that we don't want to act. And the immediate reaction when such situations arise is similar to Arjuna, that we don't want to act. So Arjuna is also applying the same way. He don't want to fight, because fight is the reason all these things happening. So he wants to give up the fighting, but that's not the solution, right? So in the due course of Bhagavad Gita, when we study, we'll understand how Krishna tells him about the higher purposes. So yesterday also mentioned, like, we should look at the higher purpose for which we are doing, or for which we are into this particular situation. And if we cannot see the higher purpose, then at least we should have someone like who with whom we can discuss, like here Arjuna is discussing with Krishna, who can guide him, and Arjuna believes in Krishna. So he is asking these questions, that Bhishma and Drona, I should worship them. Mm. So it's in our relationships with teachers, superiors, or family relationships. Uh, there are few certain relationships which should be respected, or which should be worshipped, and that's the etiquette. That's a general etiquette, as Srila Prabhupada said. It's nothing special that or nothing extraordinary that is expected from you. It's a general etiquette from a civilized person, uh, and that's the expectation we have to, or a civilized person has to obey. And Arjuna, though being a great warrior in this situation, uh, he is also acting in a way we will act. So we always have to look for the higher purpose, why we are in that particular situation. And if we cannot look at the higher purpose, then we act by the emotions, and the emotions will rule our actions, and that may not be always correct for that particular situation, and also not correct for our own benefit. Because when the actions are done by the emotions, then they are always negative emotions that intrigate, or that uh, makes the action to be visible. So that is generally against our interest or self-interest. But we don't understand in that particular situation that what we are doing is wrong. Like Arjuna's situation also, he thinks and he argues or he gives reasons why he is saying or why he is correct. So this is the similar situation we also face in everywhere. And it's not so, because Arjuna is not able to overcome these reactions. It's understood that for us also, the Arjuna is with Krishna, is living with Krishna and all these Vaishnavas. Still, he is facing this problem. So, though they, in Bhagavad Gita, we have to remember that whatever situation Arjuna is put into is also one of the potencies of the Lord, that he can speak uh, Gita. But we have to also remember that Lord has created this situation for Arjuna for us, so that we will understand that when we face or we are into the such situations, what is the appropriate action. So that's why Bhagavad Gita is practically uh, applicable in everyday's life. It's not that in difficult situations only. No, in any situation, Bhagavad Gita's teachings can be applied. So here now, Arjuna is in dialogue with Krishna, and Krishna will start answering his questions, and he will also um, make sure, or he will convince Arjuna to fight, uh, to take up bow and arrow and fight for the higher purpose, which is the dharma, for the dharma yuddha on the Kurukshetra. So that we will see in the following verses as this dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna goes ahead. So it's very practical dialogues, practical question and answers, QA session, and from these we can learn many lessons to be applied in our daily life. So thank you very much. If anyone has any more comments or um, any additions, then please feel free to add. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for joining today, and we'll see tomorrow how it goes about how Krishna handles the situation, or how what he guidance he gives, because that is applicable to us also. So thank you very much, and we hope to see you tomorrow again to see the next course of happenings in Bhagavad Gita as it proceeds. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, thank you.